Hello everybody, my name is Stirling and I will be reading from my book Finding Sky, which in German is also called Finding Sky. The section I'm going to read happens fairly early on in the book, where the main character Sky has received the bad news she has to play in a football match. Up to this point there's been some tension growing between her and the hero of the book, who is a guy called Zed, and he appears in this section as well. Sky doesn't know that she has a special power, that she is, like Zed, one of the savant community, and it's at the football match when Zed first discovers that she shares a gift with him. On the last Friday in September, I received some unwelcome news from Tina on our way to school in her car. "We all have to show up and play soccer, boys and girls?" I asked her, horrified by the notion. "Yeah, it's a junior year tradition before first snowfall, so that means first Monday in October. It's supposed to build team spirit or something." Tina blew a bubble with her gum and let it pop. "As well as show up any hidden talent to the coach. I personally think Mr. Joe is behind it. You must realise by now he's the power behind the throne in the school. He likes a chance to pretend he's a coach." She didn't seem too bothered by the prospect, not like I was. "This is worse than dental surgery." I hugged my arms defensively across my chest. "Why? I thought you Brits loved soccer. We're all expecting great things from you." "I suck at sports." Tina laughed. "Too bad." After pleading with my dad for him to explain the offside rule, I realised I was heading for another disaster. But there was no escape. The whole year group, all 100 of us, were told to report to the coaches out on the bleachers on Monday. The computer had selected a random collection of names to make up the teams. Mr. Joe, in a misguided attempt to make the English girl feel at home in her national sport, crowned me captain of Team B, which meant we were the first to play against A. And guess who was their captain? "Okay, Zed, you win the toss." Mr. Joe tucked the coin away and blew his whistle. He had really entered into the spirit of the game, even having one of those little notebook thingies in his top pocket. "It's 15 minutes each way. Good luck." He patted me on the shoulder in passing. "Now's your chance to shine, Sky. Do England proud." I was sure this place was going to crop up in my nightmares from here on. Rows upon rows of people watching from the bleachers, and me without a clue what to do. It was like one of those dreams where you go out naked. Major humiliation. Duffy started begging for mercy on my eternal soundtrack. "Okay, Captain." Nelson grinned at me. "Where do you want us?" The only position I knew well were centre forward and goalie. I put Nelson up front and myself in goal. "Are you sure?" asked Sheena. "Aren't you, a bit short for a defender?" "No, it's fine. I'm best back here. Out of harm's way, I meant. The rest of you, share out the other positions. Do what you do best." After kick-off, I found that I had seriously miscalculated. I'd forgotten that when the opposition are captained by a player who makes mincemeat of your defensive line, half of whom had as shaky a grasp of the game as I, then the goalie suddenly has a very busy time indeed. We were 5-0 down after 10 minutes. My team began making mutinous noises. If the strikers on Zed's team had left me alone for a moment, I would have dug a hole in the goal and hidden in it. At half-time, we were a mammoth 9 goals behind. I'd let in 10, but Nelson had achieved a miracle and scored once. My team gathered round me, the spirit of the lynch mob in the air. "Tactics," sneered Sheena. "Invite a meteor to fall on the pitch, obliterating my goal. Drop dead from plague." "Stop it, Sky. This wasn't helping." Well done, Nelson. Great goal. Let's have more of those, please." "That's it. Your tactics. More goals, please." Sheena inspected her nails. "Sheesh, look, I broke one. Do Do you think they let me retire injured? I don't play football, soccer, back home. I didn't want to be captain. Sorry. I gave a pathetic shrug. This is so humiliating, grumbled Neil, who until then had always been quite nice to me. Mr. Joe promised you'd be great. I was beginning to feel a lot like crying. Then he was wrong, wasn't he? Expecting me to be good at football is like expecting all Welsh people to be able to sing. My team looked blank. Okay, so they hadn't heard of Wales. Look, just stop letting so many of them past you with the ball, and then I wouldn't have to save so many. Save? Sheena shrieked with derision. You've not saved a single one. And if you do, I'll eat my sneakers. The whistle blew for the second half. I trekked upfield to my goal, only to be stopped by Zed. What now? I snapped. Gonna rub it in some more that I'm rubbish? No need, my team's already done that. He looked over my head. No, Sky, I was going to tell you that you're down that end this half. Sheesh, I was going to cry. I scrubbed my wrist over my eyes and pivoted on the spot and set off for the other end of the pitch. I had to run the gauntlet of mocking faces. I blinked. Zed's team were all surrounded by the raspberry pink glow of amusement. Mine had a charcoal grey aura shot through with red. Was I really seeing this, or imagining it? Oh, stop it. Sometimes I'm such a nutcase. The massacre, game, continued until it was embarrassing for everyone, even the spectators. I'd not managed to save a thing. Then Sheena brought Zed down in the box and I was facing a penalty. The jeers and laughter from the stands grew louder as all realised that a classic high school moment was in the making. Zed, the best player in the year, was facing the talent-challenged foreigner. Go on, Sky, you can do it, yelled Tina from the bleachers. No, I couldn't, but there spoke a true friend. I stood in the centre of my wretched goal and faced Zed. To my astonishment, he wasn't gloating. If anything, he looked a bit sorry for me. That's how pathetic I was. He placed the ball carefully on the spot and glanced up at me. Dive to your left. His voice in my head again. I was certifiable. I rubbed my eyes, trying to clear my brain. Zed held my gaze. Dive to your left. Oh, what the hell? I was now so far gone I was hallucinating. I had no hope of stopping the ball, so I could at least make a flamboyant, if hopelessly unnecessary, dive. Maybe I'd knock myself out on the post. Let's think on the bright side. Zed ran up, kicked, and I spread-eagled myself sideways to the left. Oof! The ball struck me square in the stomach. I curled round it in agony. An enormous cheer went up, even from Zed's teammates. I can't believe it! She saved it! Yelped Tina, doing a celebratory dance with Zoe. A hand appeared in front of my eyes. Are you okay? It was Zed. I saved it! Yeah, we saw. He cracked a smile and pulled me up. Did you help me? Now why would I do that? He turned his back, reverting to the rude Zed of our first acquaintance. Great. Thank you very much, O mighty one. Spurred on by irritation, I'd acted on instinct and sent the thought the same way I'd heard his voice. It was as if I'd taken a plank of wood to his head. Zed spun round, reeling, to stare at me. I couldn't tell if he was horrified or amazed. I froze, momentarily stunned, as if I'd just brushed against a live electric fence. I clamped down on the shriek of emotion shooting through me. He hadn't heard my sarcasm, had he? That was just impossible. Mr. Joe jogged between us, blowing his little whistle. Well done, Sky. I knew you had it in you. Only 1 minute to go. Get the ball back in play. We still lost. 25-1.